Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. Welcome back to the Night Shift Hollow Cult. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's getting through the work week. Everybody's making it. I know there's some rough-ass weather out to the west of us through Iowa and everything. If anybody is hailing from there or has family that were affected by the storms yesterday, I hope that everyone is good. But it's been a couple weeks, and we're back. My schedule's all screwed up, so we're just making it work. How's everybody doing? Burton, what's up? Anybody got any weirdness going on?
It seems to be rampant of late.
Yeah.
All the strange things.
Yeah. I've had just within the last couple nights. I know my sleep schedule is reversed the last week because I went back to midnights. But I've been seeing weird shit out of the corner of my eye. I don't know. It happened once last night and twice the night before. Enough to like it freaked me out. Almost like it wasn't like people, but it was like human forms, I guess, just out of the corner of my eye. It was weird.
Welcome to my
It was weird. At one point I was kind of sitting back, just basically my job on night, just kind of wait for something to happen. So I was just kind of sitting back and I saw it out of the corner of my right eye and I was like, what in the hell is going on? Because I wasn't around anyone. And then I saw it out of the corner of, well, that was my right eye, and then I saw it out of the corner of my left eye, and I'm like, what is happening? I didn't know if I was tired or whatever, but I just got a really gross feeling and had to drive away from where I was. It was weird.
It sucks.
It was weird.
Mine's always in my bedroom, so not a whole lot of driving away there. And I'm oddly accustomed to it at this point. So it's weird. There's been a lot of weird shit happening that it'll get elaborated on a bigger story, bigger show, bigger explanation of things.
It was weird. Normally, like, I get it here in the house and I attribute it to the residual shadow guy, but the last week it was definitely not just here. And that hasn't even happened here in quite a while. It's been a couple months since I saw old Shadow Pal, but yeah, it's been running kind of rampant this last week. part of me is trying to attribute it to my sleep schedule, but the fact that it happened back to back, and it was enough to kind of freak me out, like give me goosebumps. So
I don't know, man. I don't know that it's sleep schedule. I think it could be a lot of things. I've been seeing a lot of people suggesting. Apparently, it happened last time as well. I was a lot more ill informed back then, but they're attributing a lot of weirdness with the eclipses that have passed through. How like the weather systems became crazy wonky after both of them. And the weather has been exceptionally crazy, at least where I'm at. I don't know about everybody else, but the weather has been ridiculous.
yeah, I saw somewhere that I guess we're already at 900 confirmed tornadoes before June. So it's on the path to be like a record breaking tornadic year. And a lot of them
That's
have
crazy.
been monster direct hits too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you had the one that went backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is it just baffled people. This is not supposed to happen. And then you just have a bunch of weird shit going on, like the Vatican coming out and being like, "Hey, we're going to update the terms of service for seeing fucking weird stuff."
Yeah, I need to find the whole article of that. If that's already came out, see the transcripts because I'm curious. I read one that was supposed to be a translation of what was coming out, but it really didn't say all that much.
Yeah, I caught like an article, so it was extremely dumbed down. I think the article was just more so like saying that they are going to come forward with said information. It was just telling everybody what they're going to do. Couldn't really elaborate on what all they said, so but it's interesting nonetheless that what was it last year or the year before, whatever it was, you start having the pushing of UFO disclosure, and now all of a sudden you have the Vatican coming forward, and now they're pushing paranormal disclosure to a degree.
Yeah, it's
or at least the awareness, and they're saying that the supernatural occurrences have been spiking lately.
yeah, it's like they can't keep the worms in the can anymore, so they're trying to get out in front of it. Yeah. Yeah, the sun's been crazy too. See that, Twiz?
Yeah.
Just been spewing shit our way.
I don't know. It's interesting, man. And you can't take what they say too serious because it is authoritative voices, which always try to lead you astray. But at the same time, it's still fucking weird no matter which way you look at it. Even if it is a mass deception, it's still weird.
Yeah. I think more people are in tune to it now. More people's minds are opened up, and I feel like the powers that be are trying to. They can't keep the cat in the bag, but they can kind of control the narrative of it if they can get out in front of it.
Yeah,
it's kind of what I'm feeling.
I think there's definitely an unavoidable event that's taking place or will take place. However, at the same time, because people are, quote unquote, waking up or becoming more in tune with it, it also gives the opportunity for mass deception, because then people will take this little nugget and they'll run to the hills with it.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of, Twiz with the Project Bluebeam. I've been seeing a lot of posts about strange anomalous lights in the sky. However, they are being, almost all of them are being suggested that they're man-made. Like, did you see the 9 pillars of light over Japan?
No. What?
Yeah. apparently that's man-made. It's man-made and has a natural. I think it has something to do with the clouds or whatever, and then fishing vessels in the water. At least that's what they're saying. However, you look at the picture and it looks biblical as fuck. Just these 9, they look like almost like if you'd picture and this is a stupid way of describing it, but like they look like light spears. Like just these spears of light that are just little slash marks in the sky. It's crazy.
Everyone talk amongst yourselves here while I'm Googling.
Because I had a listener send it to me and I saw it and I was like, what in the fuck is that? So I started Googling it and I found where they're giving an explanation for it. However, you have to take that with me, in my opinion, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Weird.
Weird looking, isn't it?
9 streaks of light recently lit up Japan's skies, leaving residents bamboozled. Fucking boozled. That is weird. I don't know. Can we screen share?
Try it.
I'm going to try here. Everybody bear with us here.
I was getting ready to try it. Anybody else's allergies been on the fucking fritz too lately? Like, I just feel like it's so much worse than it's ever been.
I was sick as hell last week. Got sick last Monday. I don't know what it was, but it beat my ass, and I'm still getting over it. You can tell in the last episode that released and all the stuff we recorded Saturday, my voice is just absolutely freaking wrecked.
Should just be able to go to present and then screen share.
Yeah. Is easiest with 2 monitors. Well, I don't have 2 monitors, so
I do. If I need to, I can plug it in and try to screen share it.
Hang on.
I usually don't have allergies too bad, but this year they've just been kind of haywire.
Yeah, mine have been pretty jacked too.
And I've only recently developed them. I used to never get them.
All right, let's see here. Is this working?
Yeah, there you go.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Look what we just did, everyone. We are smart.
Sophisticated.
This is the 9 pillars of light here, according to Unilad.
It's pretty cool looking.
It would be crazy to see that.
Yep.
Just out on your own. That shit's wild. I guess I can probably scroll through this here. Is it moving, Kyle? I can't watch them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody listening is going to be like, what are you guys talking about? Well, you're going to have to come to the night shift if you want to get the good. So what'd they say this was?
One report said that it came from, I'm assuming, I didn't read it all because I saw that it was man-made, and they said it came from fishing vessels. And I'm assuming because it looks like a foggier sky, maybe low clouds, that lights from the fishing vessels are being cast upward, and that's what's causing it. Almost like if you were to turn a barge light to the clouds or something to that effect.
Fish attracting light pillars. Japan Today explained that it happens when overnight temperatures drop down low enough that ice crystals form in the air high above ships.
Oh, okay. I was a little off.
I mean,
ice crystals.
When the conditions are just right to produce large enough crystals but no precipitation, the light from their boats reflect off the crystals and shine brightly enough to be seen from shore. I don't know.
Like I said, that's the official report. However, like I said in one of my Instagram posts, we did blame UFO crash on weather balloons. So
that's what
just
Bob said. Ice crystals and swamp gas.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
Right. So, like I said, it could be strange, could be absolutely normal. At this point, I don't know, because you can't trust anything that you read from mainstream media sources.
Yeah. And you'd think, like, they said, what'd that say? The last one happened in 2015. That's like a decade apart. You would think the conditions would be like, I don't know, look at a rainbow or a sundog. That shit feels like the
True.
same thing. You think the conditions would be right more than once every decade.
You would think so. You would think that it wouldn't be that rare of an event.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we're learning. It's only taken us, what? We've been doing night shift for like a year.
A minute,
Getting there.
yeah.
Slow learners.
What else to say? I can't remember where my brain had something and then I forgot. That's my bad. I don't know. It's been fucking bizarre lately with everything. You don't even have to pay close attention anymore, and you still catch wind of just ridiculous things that are happening that you can't believe are even making it to mainstream sources.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely, I don't know, and everything's getting so convoluted now with like AI and video manipulation, and it's so hard to differentiate.
Yeah, that's kind of where my brain was going to go. I remember what I was going to say, that apparently shows like ours and others, even bigger shows, they are being, and I mean this in a new, I guess it's just a plain way, they're being pushed out, meaning that not just the paranormal stuff, but long form content is now purposely being essentially shadow banned, because they're saying what's happening is that with these types of long form content, people actually have the opportunity to hear the entirety of the story and hear expansion of thoughts and so on and so forth, which induces free thought. So all of the social media platforms, including YouTube, are now pushing shorts. Boom, 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 boom. And those are now top priority over all content. Shorts.
Oh yeah.
And that's on every platform, every which way, it's shorts. Boom,
Yep.
boom, boom.
Yep, they've definitely cultivated our attention span. Said something like, if something doesn't catch your interest in like 7 seconds, you move on, scrolling through social media or something like that. I read.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy that would be considered a bad thing. That long form content is now bad. We must get rid of it.
I mean, and it makes sense. If we as a show have felt it. We've just been stifled for the last, probably year and a half now.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it goes down every day. I mean, it really does. Like it,
And it may have to do with like,
and I don't know fucking why. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we say, none of it can be essentially factually proven, quote unquote, in certain lines. And people could look at us and just think we're crazy at the end of the day. Like, they don't have to take anything we say at face value or to heart or anything. They can just, these guys are nuts. I'm moving on. I'm not listening to these two have a conversation.
yeah, they really are like cultivating a instant gratification, like dopamine generation.
That's exactly it.
You know,
They're keeping the dopamine just through the freaking roof.
if you don't want to see this, move on. You'll finally catch something you want to see, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, it just adds to the fast pace of life that we're already living. And it's part of the course. You know, people are now convincing themselves that they are able to digest the entirety of a story, a situation in 60 seconds. Just boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
Yep.
It's, you know, in a nutshell, I did it myself with the Pillars of Light. You know, I assumed I got to reading that it was man-made. I just skimmed it and I'm like, okay, it's probably from this. I'm going to find out it's not what I thought it was at all.
We are a convenience species.
That is no
all
doubt.
Social media is moving toward that. Like YouTube now, what are the YouTube shorts, reels, whatever? Every platform has something for it now.
Yeah. And like I said, that's getting the number one push in all directions is shorts. It's just subtle content like that.
Yeah. But we're here as the alternative to talk for a long time.
I personally love 3-hour long podcasts. As long as they're good, you know, they're hitting in the right spots. I mean, sometimes I end up wishing I had more. Or I'm like, damn, I didn't want that to end. That was good. That was good conversation.
And a lot of things you can't put in a 1 minute package. You know what I mean? Like, one that comes to mind. Look at the Black Cube or look at Hellfire Farm. How are you going to put that into a 1 minute package and wrap it up? You can't. There's so much shit that's left out.
You don't give it any justice when you do that.
Yep.
And I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day while I was mowing. Like I figured out why I hate social media. And it's because everything's text-based. Everything is text-based. And when everything is text-based, so much gets lost into the ether. It gets taken out of context. Everybody assumes everybody is yelling at each other when they might be, but you actually don't know that. So there's no substance at all. And I would much rather have a conversation because sometimes I just want to talk. Like I'll have something in my head that I heard and I just want to sit down and talk to somebody about it. But you can't like imagine listening to a 2-hour show and then you try to text anybody, pick anyone, and you try to text them about that show. Like it just gets annoying as fuck after a while. Where like, okay, I'm done texting. This is dumb.
Yeah.
I could have a conversation. It would have went so much smoother.
I do feel like it's stifling of communication because that's the last thing they want is all of us talking, all of us getting on the same page. We know that time and time again. The more divided they can keep us, the better off we are. And what better way to do it than through social media?
Yeah, I think that's just why I stay away from it so much. It's most of it is just never-ending garbage.
Yeah, you can't fit critical thinking into short. Long form is never going to go away unless they try to do away with critical thinking, which probably they would if they could.
But back to paranormal talk, I've been finding some pretty fucking weird alien stories.
I have one like I don't know if I'll be able to get it into a show, but I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to write it out and see where I'm at. There's a couple different avenues I can go, and it's weird.
I found some pretty interesting books that I'm probably going to dig into.
Good.
That I'm pretty excited about. I think they're going to be really good reads. So I'm excited to dive into them and kind of start dissecting those. I found it cool because I found like a series of books that'll help, or it'll kind of be different topics where it's not just a string of alien stories and then a string of Bigfoot stories. It's this nice It's like it just lined up for me. It was like boop, doop, boop, boop, boop. I'm like, dude, those would be cool shows. We haven't, a couple of them, we haven't done anything like it before. So it'd be interesting to see where that comes. I know one in particular, and I chose it just for the title. But it gets like the overarching plot of the book essentially is dude has 100% committed himself to be a conduit for extraterrestrials. And he talks about their ability to farm souls and shit like that. So it's very on par with some of the stuff we've recently talked about. And I really want to get into it because I want to know more about soul farming.
Yeah. When I was looking into that reincarnation, the couple little articles that I went through and the stuff that the examples that I came up with, there's so many. It's I don't know. It makes you feel like there's got to be something to it. And these are just people that remember their past lives. Like
Right.
How many of us aren't able to, or what if we get to a point in our life where we start remembering, or I don't know. It's weird.
It'd be fucking weird. I did see, I don't know why. Anybody else out there, if you're having it happen to you, chime in. I've been having, because I was kind of loosely doom scrolling Holosky Instagram shorts, just kind of looking for talking points. And I kept seeing videos on head replacements.
Oh, that popped up on my Twitter feed. Like an AI head replacement. It's like robots doing it.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, and they can take somebody's head and put it on somebody else's body.
Yeah, I saw that. That popped up on mine yesterday too.
And then I saw another one what they do with their face. They're basically doing face off now, which is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
I'm trying to think of some other things. We got an excellent episode coming out Monday. Kyle takes us on a vacation, so to the tropics of Bermuda. So we had a good time doing that.
Heck yeah.
Everybody make sure you tune in.
OG of the OG.
Get our take on the Bermuda Triangle. It's really just us talking shit on the ocean for about 40 of the 60 minutes, but
yeah,
the ocean sucks.
It does. I'm not a big fan of water.
Yeah, I got an interesting UFO case that I'm trying to dig in to some released government files that supposedly had this case in it, but the entire section that is to do with this particular case is now redacted or missing from the internet. So I was thinking about trying to file a FOIA to see what I could get, see if they respond, but we all know that could take forever. I might just throw it out there anyway to see if I can get anything on it.
Might as well.
But I do have a little, I could probably get 30, 40 minutes out of it, actually.
It'll turn into an hour.
I also got another weird haunting case that I came across. It's strange because I came across the book a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. And then one of the YouTubers that I watch just did a case on it yesterday, put out an episode. So I'm like, man, it's weird how these things kind of go in waves. They pop up and then they go off. And 50 people in here. So everybody make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be here when we're here. Again, our schedules are getting crazy. We're so shorthanded at work. I'm going to be forced in probably more than I want to. Non-consensual overtime is lame. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Yes, that is agreed.
What else was I going to say? Oh, I was doom scrolling. Doom scrolling is the perfect word for it. TikTok lives the other day, and there was this woman there painting, and she was painting this picture of what looked like 3 gray entities, right? Standing there. So I just kind of hung out on the live and just listening to her talk. And she really went down the rabbit hole on that one.
Is that the one you were telling me
Yes.
about?
I might try to get her
You
on
get
the
on the
show.
show.
Yeah.
No, it needs to be a necessity.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got into this for the weird, so I want the weirdest shit I can get my hands on.
I bet she would come on because she ended up following the page.
I'm reaching out to everybody that has a weird fucking story.
But long story short, she is an alien and Arcturian.
Yes.
And they were I don't even want to describe it because if she comes on the show, I don't want to do it any injustice. But essentially, they were a alien life form that came to Earth before humans. And once humans kind of started taking over, they just kind of pulled back, just sitting it out. But anyway, this woman says that she can contact entities, all forms of alien races. But one thing that really stood out to me was that she said she has a spirit guide that's from the 12th dimension. And she said the only way that she can describe what this entity looks like is like fractals of light. And made me think of like predator beings or glimmer beings. And I'm like, man, that's weird that those kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I actually would like to get to know. I think it might be hard for us to pull it off, but I would really like to get someone like, for example, Father Machado on the show.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, like somebody that dealt with exorcisms. I think it would be awesome to get a hold of someone like that. Not to mention, it would also be kind of cool if you had someone like him that is just a certified badass to bless a couple of rosaries and send them our way.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty.
I don't even know if he still does it anymore. He was pretty old back then. I'll have to do some digging.
I would really enjoy that conversation, and I would enjoy if that would be a possibility if they could bless some rosaries and send them off.
That would be dope.
I think it would be fucking awesome.
Swooping back around to the alien woman, I was just kind of watching through the chat and people were asking her questions, and somebody asked if most of the entities and beings that she were in contact with were benevolent, and she said yes, most of them are. Kind of, they're more or less just observers essentially of the human race. But she said there are some. She started out, she started out calling them reptilians, but she's like, well, they're not. She's like, that's just the way that we perceive them. She's like, but I think they're draconians. And she said the first thing you'll notice when you're in the presence of like some of these lower level entities, like the draconians are, she said they smell bad. She said the smell is just gross because they feed off of negative energy. She says whenever people do meditation and kind of shed the negativity from their life, these things just feed off of it. So she said whenever that's going on, that these things just kind of hover around like hyenas, just trying to pick up the scraps of everyone's negative energy. But she says all that negativity smells bad. I'm like, that's fucking weird.
I can see that. I mean, you hear that with demonic presences as well.
Yeah. Or look at Bigfoot.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I'd almost guarantee it's not the only ones.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was telling you the other day, I think not all, but I think when it comes to a lot of these ultra terrestrials, these really powerful ones, I don't think their appearance means shit.
No.
I really don't. I think they have the ability to do whatever they want. They can appear to us as a fucking taco if they want.
That's kind of her take on it too. She says it's just how we perceive them. You know,
Yeah. And that's what made me think about it. Is that comment.
She said, she's like humans. She's like anything above about the fifth dimension we can't even comprehend. Essentially, like we wouldn't be able to put it together in our brains what we were looking at. So she said that whatever this being was from the 12th dimension, she said the only way that I could even describe it is just fractals of light. She said
it is cool. It is a weird connection between that and like the Glimmer Man or the Predator
the first
beings.
thing I thought of. I'm like, man, which is even terrifying at the same time.
I think it's cool. I'm becoming oddly fucking interested in ways that I shouldn't be.
That's funny you say that because like me and Kyle, like we're buddies, we're homies, we're brothers, but we don't converse all that much like outside. Like during our work week, we'll text each other on and off, but we're usually so busy and so consumed with our lives that a lot of what we have going on doesn't correlate until we get together, right? So we're kind of on different pages on the same book, right? And it's funny that you say that because the other day,
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
I was just sitting at work and I started looking into like blood rituals and shit, probably stuff that I shouldn't look into. And I'm like, because the whole,
I would reel that back. I would say that I don't think there is any such thing as should look into.
Okay. Yeah.
I think information is information, right? I want to make that clear because I know a lot of people get fucking pissed whenever you become fascinated with a darker topic. And I think we've talked about it before. I think it is important to, at the very least, understand what you're looking at should that time arise.
I agree.
Right. So I'm not saying that by having your interest piqued in blood magic suggest that you should go do blood magic. I'm not saying that. But let's say you come across something that is unexplained to you, and it is somebody that has done blood magic, and you're in the presence of. Well, if you've never looked into it before, you're not going to know what the fuck it is. You're not going to know if you should get out of Dodge, or you're not going to know what they were doing or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
It's all going to be a foreign language to you at that point. I guess
shouldn't look into is wrong phrasing.
No, I think it's appropriate because a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people get pissy when you show interest because they assume that, oh, well, Steve's going to start doing blood magic now. You know what I mean? Like, but I just think it's something that I would like to put out there that just because you're learning about it doesn't mean that you're going to be consumed by it and that you're going to do it.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about reincarnation, right? And I was thinking about how almost every facet of spirituality, and especially the paranormal sides of spirituality, are so centered around the soul. Like the soul is the nuclei of all that. But then I start looking back into like ancient rituals. And what are those all centered around? Blood.
Blood's life force.
Your DNA's in your blood. You know, like where? How are these two tied together? And if they're not, when did the split happen?
That's an interesting question.
You know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah, because it could. I mean, who's to say that the soul and the blood aren't tethered in some way?
Because look at how many even like look at the taking of the Eucharist, the blood and the body of Christ. You know, like
Yeah.
blood is,
which furthermore is even more terrifying because we go to like blood draws and stuff. It's crazy. So essentially, if they are tied together, then people could have other people's soul pieces within them.
It's weird, right?
Which is very, because man, my brain could go a million different ways from that. You know what I mean? Because what if, as an example here, and I'm not saying this is real, so please don't take it out of context, but it's a fun thought process. Imagine someone had surgery, need a blood transfusion, and they grabbed 3 bags of blood. They start pumping it into Steve, yada, yada, yada. And then later on, Steve develops schizophrenia because he's got different essences within him.
There are cases. There are cases of that.
Wouldn't that be a fucked up?
There are cases of people having organ transplant and taking on personality traits.
I have heard that before.
The person, like of the person that they got the organs from, that they didn't know anything about, which is weird. Tinfoil Tales, what's up, my friend? But yeah, I was getting into that, and I'm like, man, because like there were so many blood rituals in the past. I mean, essentially they still are. Like, look at the taking of the Eucharist and communion and all that. That's essentially a ritual. And no matter how you break it down.
Without question.
So I was just curious.
Oh, that's interesting. If that's true, JJ. Christian scientists will refuse blood transfusions for part of that, for that being a reason.
And look at like the different types of blood. Like O blood can go, what is it? O blood can go to anyone, but you can only get transfusion from O blood. And then there's RH blood that is different from every other blood on the top of the planet and all this.
Yeah.
It had my brain just rolling the other night. I'm like, man, I need something.
It's definitely a cool, like, it's a cool topic to let your brain run down.
Yeah.
To say the least. Which brings me back to those videos I saw about the transplanting heads.
Yes.
It was suggesting that the human brain also has the capacity of living or staying in use for thousands of years. It's just our bodies give out before the brain does, apparently, which was interesting.
That is.
If the body could stay alive, essentially the brain function would cease to exist, although in some people that's not true, now that I think about it. Because sometimes people's brains erode with time.
Yeah. I wonder what the life expectancy of a human body is if we're not taken out by like cancers and shit.
I don't know.
Hold on, I gotta.
And then according to old texts, our DNA was altered so we wouldn't have a long life. Hundreds of years versus tens of years.
Which is sus. 150 plus. I saw somewhere that a biologist estimated 190 years the human body could live if it weren't for like getting taken out. If we were under like perfect health, if it was just waiting essentially the deterioration of the human body out.
So that's a hell of a long time they collect taxes on our asses.
No shit.
I mean, the retirement age would be pushed way back at that point.
That's why they keep us all sick. They can milk as much money out as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Yeah.
I saw someone mention now since I figured out how to screen grab here. I saw someone talking about the King Charles portrait, which is, first off, the thing is hideous.
Standalone, it's
Hideous,
disgusting,
right? And I see people mirroring it and putting all sorts of stuff together, so I might as well bring it up. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I'm just going to show the mirrored image here because that's what everybody's here to see, right? The mirrored image and what it looks like. I don't know whose Twitter this is. I just Google grabbed it, so we are in no way affiliated with whoever's Twitter this is. Well, I'm going to just show you this here. So, yeah, there it is. Essentially, it's just half of that put together, but they mirrored it, and you can see this weird, like, occultish Mickey Mouse type entity in the center here, this Five Nights at Freddy's looking thing. People are going nuts over this.
I see more than one thing in there.
Yeah, there's like a face up at the top center here. Let me see if you can see.
Right here. Almost like, it almost looks like it's it's weird because it has like an animal head, almost like old Egyptian gods.
Big thing down here with the ears. And why in the hell is there a butterfly over here? I don't know.
It's fucking weird, man. No matter which way you look, like, I just don't understand why.
And if you really start flipping it around, then you pretty much get whatever this guy is right here.
It's crazy.
I wonder if he asked for his money back.
I would, because like you said, that is a hideous portrait. Yeah. Like, even standalone, right? Without all this hidden shit in it, it makes you look sinister. Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm going to start mirroring all of our images.
This is not a flattering portrait of you, sir.
I probably could have done that. Like, just slapped a bunch of paint together and then just photoshopped his head in it and been like, here you go. How's this look?
You're like, oh my gosh, you're rich now.
I was trying to troll everybody that was posting on it, talking all kinds of weird shit. I took the picture and I just took Five Nights at Freddy's logo and I implanted on it. And every time somebody would say something on Twitter, I just post it. And that's why nobody takes me seriously.
That's also true.
It is.
Do you think the hidden sections in there on purpose or just coincidence?
Like the weird faces and shit?
Yeah.
I feel like you could take a lot of paintings and put them together and see weird shit. I'm more interested in like what does the butterfly symbolize? Like the things that were intentionally put in there, I feel like people are not paying attention to.
That's weird that you say that. The butterfly in specific. Because I literally just watched a thing. I'm not saying that I believe this per se, but I just saw a thing on butterflies being linked to demons.
Interesting.
People with butterfly tattoos, I'm going to say, can be demonically possessed. Because I know there's a lot of people out there with butterfly tattoos that are not demonically possessed.
What about a moth?
I was going to say, that's a moth. That's subtly different.
But I feel at the point in the world we're at now, right? Everyone is trying to find meaning hidden below the surface, right? And I feel like it's so much so now that they can put whatever the hell they want out on the top layer and people will look right through it, trying to dig in to find something hidden. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody's trying to look for hidden examples of shit, and they don't have to hide it anymore. They just put it right out there because people just look past it, digging in, trying to be part of the next big conspiracy or whatever. I think they're 10 steps ahead of us on that. They're putting whatever they need to put out there. We're just overlooking it. You know, if a butterfly is demonic and they painted it right onto the fucking pictures. We're over here looking for animatronic fucking bear heads hidden in the mirror image of the goddamn painting. Like, they don't even have to do that anymore.
I think it's a mix. And like you said, I don't know. I think there's a mix to it. Because one thing's for sure, regardless of how you feel, that at a given point in time, probably whenever the majority of people started to learn how to read, they transferred a lot of things to symbols to control narratives. So symbols are going to be ridiculously important in these circles. And that is, Bob Tecular, that's a gross analogy for it. The butterfly and the painting of finished transformation.
Oh.
That makes me feel gross. Especially coupled with the hidden imagery in there. I think those things exist, though, because we did it a lot. Like, old versions of us did it a lot.
Do you remember that when the Queen died, when they were doing the live feed of the procession, I posted it on TikTok. Somebody comes through on the live feed and says the death is irreversible. She cannot be brought back.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is, it's weird. It's weird.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation about people over there for a long time anyways.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's definitely weird. I'm not going to argue that either.
It's very, very strong.
But it's so, like you said, there's so many people, and we've talked about it before. Not all of it is going to be occult workings. Some of it is going to be coincidence. And some of it's also going to be intentional because it's cool, quote unquote. And then some of it's going to be fucking real. But at the end of the day, all of us has to decipher which which is essentially impossible for us.
And it's a hot talking point. Like, look at any of your favorite conspiracy podcasts. Look at the imagery they put into their logos and shit. Us included. Like, we got occult and esoteric imagery in there because it's a talking piece, because it stands out. People are going to see that and be like, "Oh, what's this about?"
You know? Right. It sends a message.
Yeah. It's weird times. You have, like, what else is going on? All the outings of all the celebrities right now. But I mean, that's nothing new, honestly. Like the Puff Daddy shit and all that stuff. That's nothing new. Everybody thinks like it's a big breakthrough, but these people have been scumbags since day one. Like,
and that's what's crazy about humanity, is that we'll sit and accept that as the way it is. Like, hey, don't tell on Diddy because I need a record deal, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying, fuck that. I ain't trying to work with a dude like this. Yeah. This motherfucker's nuts. And he's disgusting, and I'm out.
Yep, it's weird. It's gross gatekeeping of all those industries.
Yeah, and a great way to put it, but it just goes to show how many people sacrifice their own moral compass to try to get ahead in life. Fucking crazy to me.
Yeah. It is crazy.
Because I'm not trying to do that.
No.
It ain't worth it.
We've had that. We've had that conversation a few times here recently.
Yeah, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. What else is going on with the world? A lot of weird shit. Jonathan Yeo is the artist of the King painting. I'll have to look and see if he has any other. Just look at his other stuff. I'm sure he has quite a portfolio.
That's cool. Robots are manufacturing robots now.
Hell yeah.
That seems intelligent.
Hell yeah.
I did hear something today or the other day about AI and its future. And some of the suggestions was like, at this point, we need to do it first. That's basically what it got down to. We need to do it. And it's the same thought process when it came to nuclear warheads.
We need to get ahead.
We need to get them first and get ahead of everybody else. So welcome new warheads. Because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a warhead unlike we've ever seen.
Oh, man.
Because I saw that they, and I don't know this is, it's tied to AI. They developed AI, and this is what's coming out to the public, which I'm sure has been around for a hot minute. But they have developed AI now that, and it's bad for Elon, AI can now read your thoughts.
Great.
Yep. Because what they did, they would have people put the little weird hat on with all the wires and shit, and they'd have them watch a movie. And it would monitor your brainwaves. And then afterwards, you would tell them what you were watching and essentially describe things in said movie. After a while, after the AI got enough data, it learned how to read brainwaves. And so by the end of this experiment, the AI would be telling them what they were watching. Like they would just be able to come in and it would go, "Oh, you're watching Die Hard, Kyle." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I was watching Die Hard."
We do this to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
We're not a species that's meant to survive.
No.
That's what Elon's been saying it since day one. He said, when we pull the lid off of that can of worms, he said it's going to be more dangerous than any nuclear war. He said it will be the downfall.
I think cat's already out of the bag, my friend.
Yeah, and people just keep pushing it. People want to get it to the precipice that we're right there. As advanced as AI can get, that we can take advantage of, and then they don't want to go over. But nobody knows where that's at.
Well, that's what's terrifying is that, as an example, we have just used AI to read people's minds. But what does that suggest? That suggests that we as humans can't look at each other and tell who's telling the truth. We have to go, "Hey, Mr. AI, is Steve telling the truth?" What's going to happen when the AI goes? Because we are now going to be looking at AI for validation.
Yeah.
And it's going to figure that out and go, "I can manipulate these little idiots in whatever direction I want."
Yeah,
Oh shit.
I saw a meme that said something about, when I heard of the integration of AI, I wanted them to do my shitty job so I would have more time to write poems and paint pictures and write songs. But instead, AI is now painting the pictures and writing the songs and writing books.
Yeah.
And I'm still stuck at my shitty job.
Yep. Shelly, sorry for your loss. That's a bummer.
That is. We hate to hear that.
It's an absolute bummer. Yeah. Yep. I feel for you because I got bad news about family members today as well. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm kind of in a similar situation, and it's extremely unfortunate. Like I said, rough year, ladies and gentlemen, rough year.
Yeah, we're sending you the best thoughts for you and your family, Shelly. Absolutely. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Like I said, I think to date, this is probably going to be one of the hardest years we've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Personally, I've from the very beginning of the year, everybody can remember I said this year is going to suck, and I just think it's that year. This is the year. I really do, and I'm trying to keep my spirits high. You know, doing the best that I can. There's just so much weird shit going on in life. Like I said, whenever we have that big put together the big episode, you guys will hear about what is currently happening at the homestead in regards to some of my family members here. It's not happening to me. It's happening to my family, which is not comfortable. It's pretty gnarly. It's another reason why I'd like to have a set of blessed rosaries. I think it would be pretty gangster to keep around the house. I'd like to have just different forms of protection around the house. Like old friend Kenneth got us those witching glasses or whatever.
Yeah.
So things like that to keep around the house. And I know that other people have sent us objects of protection as well, but the more merrier.
Isn't that the truth? Dayton says, "Sup, fellas, you guys are definitely shadow banned. I got 0 notifications."
That's not surprising.
We're pretty sure we're on that list. But yeah,
it is what it is.
Fine. We're like I said in the episode's gonna drop. We're too dumb to stop. So
yeah,
too stubborn, too bullheaded.
Yeah, I've thought of that, and I wish I don't think he's still alive. The guy, because I was raised Catholic, and there was one priest in particular that was always really kind to my family, and it would be awesome to get some from him because he was a solid dude. But I don't think he's around anymore. I need to ask my mom about that if he is, because if he is, I'll definitely hit him up and get some, because I know he would do it. Really good dude. I don't think he is. I don't think he's around, because I was actually gonna have him marry me and my wife, but I don't think he's around anymore. I think that's what it was. Because essentially, I mean, I ain't trying to talk shit, but essentially, without him, the Catholic Church refused to marry me and my wife. So there's that. And I really only wanted to do it because I knew my grandma would find it really special.
Yeah.
Because her and grandpa have always been diehard churchgoers and everything else. And I knew it would make her really, really, really happy. So I was like, let's just try to do this. Grandma will be ecstatic. And it didn't turn out that way. But me and the wife made grandma and grandpa our ring bearers. So that was pretty cool.
I'm gonna skis through the chat here. Get to looking. Tinfoil Tail says, "I'm sad to report that the winged humanoids that a couple people reported seeing around my area, I've never been able to see any on the few times I went out looking for them." What area are you from, Tinfoil? Curious. Because interestingly enough, not to change the subject or anything, but right when we started the show, a guy contacted me that was originally from the St. Louis area, but he moved to Las Vegas, but he would come back to St. Louis for his job quite a bit. And he had done all this research and work on collecting weird paranormal occurrences from around the St. Louis and Metro East area. So much so he shared an encounter on Route 3 just behind Grafton, Kyle. A woman was driving home and saw a essentially Mothman
Good.
right there up behind Grafton Hills.
That's awesome.
It is.
I'm trying to see Mothman.
And then I got to looking at it, and there are more than one singular account of winged humanoid creatures, not like giant thunderbirds, but like winged humanoid creatures. There were some duck hunters in West Alton just within the last like decade or so. They saw something, some winged, said looked like a winged human land out there, like in this shallow area of West Alton where they were out hunting. Said it stood about 5 feet tall. I'm like, what are the chances?
It is weird. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want. I'd rather see Mothman than weird fucks lurking around my house.
Yeah. I don't get scared very often, like very, very rarely. Something has to catch me off guard, but whatever I was seeing in my peripheral the last 2 nights, it almost felt like it was trying to fuck with me because I would see it out of this eye and it startled me. And then when I went to look this way, I saw it over here too. So it was like boom, boom. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Am I too tired?
That's cool.
So it definitely hit me to the point to where I was like, okay, this is a little bit beyond weirdness. So I don't know. Like I said, the things that me and Kyle are putting together, it essentially could all go hand in hand. And I know I went hard on the whole Bledsoe thing and what was happening to us then, but I may have to eat crow on that because now coming back around and kind of putting together a timeline as to what has been going on, I don't know. It's weird. Some weird shit going on.
And congratulations, Chris and your wife on your 30th wedding anniversary.
That's awesome.
Long time.
That's dope. 30 years. You don't hear that very often anymore.
Awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah. Congratulations.
For show.
Trying to think of what else weird. Again, I'm going to try to put together that UFO encounter that's bizarre. I got that essentially haunted encounter. Those kind of go pretty good. I stumble on some weird ones like Hellfire Farm every once in a while. Sometimes those are heaters.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times especially me, I'm horrible about like looking over like ghost content because I feel like it's just, I don't know, saturated maybe. Maybe it's because when I was young, like all I did was read like true ghost stories and true this, true that.
Yeah.
And it was all centered around ghosts. So now that I'm getting well off into the deep into the paranormal, like those things don't really tick the boxes so much. It's different when I'm hearing people's personal encounters because like you're taking that from the source, but like reading in like compiled material, things have to really like catch me off guard, and there has to be like different tie-ins, and this one is crazy. If I can get it put together, it should be a good one. I'm gonna dig. The book is huge. The book's almost 400 pages long, so I'm gonna have to.
There was one I was looking at the other day that was about that long, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to pass on this one for a minute because that's a lot to try to read in 2 weeks."
And you want to get good. You want to get the good, juicy parts, but a lot of times, if you leave something out, it almost like leaves an end untied that you can't leave it out of the encounter because you want it like it's integral to the story.
Yeah, that's how I felt with Stardust. Because I wanted to leave a lot out so it would entice people to go buy the book. It's definitely worth having in your collection. I know a lot of people listening did go buy it, which is awesome. Thank you for that. But I don't know. I just felt like I couldn't leave a lot of it out.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. For those listening in that's not in here, this is right as you guys started getting those strings together with the Leggy Man, I started having stuff happening at home and work.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
It is weird.
I feel that.
There's a lot of stuff that we haven't talked about going on that we've just kept between me and Kyle because once we get the timeline put together and compile the information, we're gonna release it as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's just the best way for us to do it at this point.
Yeah.
So you'll get teased about it with it for a little while
until we can,
and then you'll get the real story. Here or there, you'll get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff individually could be labeled as coincidence, but if you put it together as a whole, it's hard to overlook.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird no matter which way you look at it.
Hard to overlook. Strange, definitely strange.
Yeah, I am. I can say that through all of this, I've come to take it serious that things in your life sometimes get presented to you in specific ways, and it's up to you to pay attention to them or not. Good and bad. Bad seems to be a little bit more unavoidable, whereas good almost always seems like an option. You know, like kind of like you sit down and think about something or put something out into the ether. Man, I really wish this could happen. Man, I really wish this. And then an opportunity gets set down at your feet. But it's up to you to capitalize on that. Whereas bad seems to be a little bit more forcefully, like almost like it's just put on your plate, like you ain't got a choice. Boop, here it is. I mean, you can still probably get around it, but it always seems a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I agree. There's probably definitely a bigger percentage of unavoidable bad than unavoidable good.
Yeah.
And a lot of
That's interesting, tinfoil, being able to talk to people who channel away spirits, negative energies, and cleanses houses and people. We're supposed to interview with a person like that as well, who said they want to help us. And I 100% believe that those people are real people. I believe that is a reality, that there are people that can do that. But in order, like, you have to, and I can't really explain it, but you have to strike me in a way where I'm like, this is the person that I need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I cannot explain to you what that means. Like, strike me in a way. I can't even begin to explain that. But for those who have felt it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you just know. You feel it in your gut.
It's weird. It's
Intuition.
it's so weird.
Intuition.
It really is, but it's hard to like describe, like to actually get it nailed down.
And I'm going to speak for myself here. I don't think anything, how do I word this? I don't think anything that we have, or I personally have dealt with, has made me feel like I need some sort of like cleansing or anything. You know what I mean? Maybe my judgment is clouded, but is there a lot of weird shit? Yes. But I don't necessarily feel that there have been that many times where I've felt in a place where I was in harm's way or threatened. Like I've had some weird things happen that have spooked me. Like whenever I thought I saw something walk through the door here on the live,
Yeah.
that caught me off guard. It felt like a person. I was spooked out the night before at work, but nothing to where I felt like threatened. The weirdest one would have probably have been whatever that entity was when we were diving into the Bledsoe case.
Speaking of all that and what I just said, do you think it's possible, or I don't want to say possible, but likely that when it comes to say I'm a spirit cleanser, do you think it's possible that maybe I'm not meant for you, if that makes sense? Like almost like
I do. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like almost like blood types, because I can reference that. Like I can't take some people's blood because I have a certain blood type. I wonder if it's the same when it comes to these types of cleansings. And
I think that both parties have to be on the same frequency, for lack of a better term. They both have to be on the same page because, or I mean, realistically, if people have the ability to cleanse away these spirits, they could just do it willy nilly, you know? Like, oh, Kyle's got some shit going on, bada boom, done. I think the participant has to be willing and has to be, like I said, on the same page as a person with the abilities.
I also like the idea that, like, if I was a cleanser, and I mean, it would be an awesome feeling to be able to cleanse anyone. I can do it all, to everyone. But it's also kind of cool to think that almost like your soul tether can only link up with certain other souls. You know what I mean? Like the blood type. Like,
it's weird, isn't it?
I'm compatible with this. But I'm not compatible with you, but I can point you in a direction that's going to get you where you need to be.
The only thing that I have to stand on to lean otherwise would be my interaction with Father Machado. Because I wasn't Catholic. I'd taken some catechism classes just to learn, but I wasn't a Catholic. But I went, and whatever he did, it made me feel a certain type of way. And I'm not a religious person, but like I said, I don't know if I was buying in to everything that was going on, the whole just the whole collective energy of the room or what it was. But whenever he made the sign of the cross on my forehead, I think it was with holy oil, I believe. It felt weird. It felt strange. And I had no connection with that. Never met that man, never heard of his name before that conference. So I had no connection to him whatsoever.
See, I'm trying to talk to motherfuckers like that. That's who I'm trying to talk to.
Yeah.
So I think it would be I don't know. It would just be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it says something when I always reference it because it's a weird synchronicity that I just happened to be tuning in to Coast to Coast the night that woman called in on Open Lines to talk about
Right.
being at a mass with Father Machado and whatever was on the outside trying to get in. It's crazy. It would be crazy to be that much of a spiritual hard ass that things are trying to take you out.
And I believe that's a reality. I really do.
It's crazy.
It's
especially
terrifying.
for people outside of the realm, like people that were just there to experience mass with him, to then experience whatever happened that evening.
Right.
Because I mean, it doesn't happen often enough for it to be like a normal occurrence, like it to be some sort of sideshow thing that they're putting on, or everybody that ever had anything to do with him would be talking about it. But it's just that one woman, that one-off.
It's terrifying too, because as much as I can sit here and reconcile and agree in the power of God, the creator, I also acknowledge the fact that I don't want to say that he doesn't come through for you, but you also have to acknowledge the fact that sometimes evil wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can pray and pray and pray and pray, but sometimes you get got. Right? Like, it happens.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't that way, then it would just be one way.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be spiritual warfare. There wouldn't be the devil and demons and possession and all of the above. It would just be the way.
Shitty things happen to good people, and we have to have a way to explain that away.
Right.
It sucks. That's what it boils down to.
It does. And that's shout out to Mr. Machado, Father Machado, for being just a fucking spiritual gangster and not giving a fuck and taking it to these forces that want nothing more than malice and just chaos and death to humanity, to good people.
It was weird. I wish
it's cool to think that those people, like, they really exist.
I wish I could describe the way that it felt, because I mean, he didn't do anything different for me than he did for the 300 people before me. Just walking through the line, just boop, 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 boop. And when it was weird, it was almost like it was like someone pouring like hot water over your head. It was weird.
I think it's cool, man. Like, I would love to have a conversation and meet people like that.
I'm just catching up in the chat here. Trying to, I don't know.
I don't know. I really like the idea of it. However, like, walking in his shoes probably isn't the funnest.
No, I bet he has some shit going on. That's for sure.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, like the fact that information is hidden. That makes the fight between, say, good and evil that much harder.
Yeah.
Because Whether, I mean, I don't really want to admit it, but if that's real, if the fight between good and evil is real, and say the Catholic exorcism is what it is, has the ability to do it, they almost have a vested interest in keeping that information from everyone. That way they can monopolize on certain areas, which is fucking terrible to think about.
It is. It's weird. It's
Not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying that it is a presented opportunity for someone to take advantage of.
yeah.
And it sucks.
Because when we read into accounts, I don't know.
Or that too, yeah. Some dumbass doesn't go out half cocked.
It's strange because I had started doing a episode on the St. Louis exorcism, which essentially is the blueprint for the movie The Exorcist, right? And it kind of went off on this. The source material I was using kind of went off on this religious tangent, which I mean you have to dealing with exorcisms, that just Catholicism is the only true way, like the only true exorcism can come from Catholicism. Any other denomination that says they can exorcise or attempt to just merely makes it worse, because all you were doing is showing attention to these entities, which just make them grow stronger. And I kind of pulled back from finishing that episode because it was such a, I don't know, it just made me feel weird. Like, is there truth to that? Because I mean,
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't say I buy into it, but I'm just,
I mean, that is kind of like a thing that you hear about, right? That Catholicism is the one that deals with exorcisms. But like, how? I
don't know.
Because, like, and I know it's a negative way of thinking, but once again, that just kind of would solidify. Like, I feel like that's a high horse statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like at the end of the day, that could be a statement of our belief is better than yours.
Yeah. I was listening and reading, but I agree to a certain extent. I don't know. I would almost want to put it to I mean, you can't even really test it. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
Test to see whose exorcism works.
Yeah, by our standards, you can't do that. And I do understand, like, what JJ and Twiz were saying, how, like, with that knowledge, it's one of them, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, you can't just jump in the ring with Ali and expect to beat him.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I would want to be like, yeah, I'll definitely, I can handle this situation, because I'm not foolish enough to think that. I know that I do not have a fraction of the knowledge that would be needed for situations like that.
No, me either. And I wouldn't take it upon myself to try, especially when somebody else's well-being is like affected. Yeah.
It's a weird topic to dive into, because the idea of heavily researching demonology, it does make you uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like dedicating mass amounts of time to demonology makes you feel uneasy. Like just immersing yourself 24/7 in.
But I mean, I feel like we've been ingrained to feel that way. You know what I mean?
I'm sure, and rightfully so. A normal person doesn't like grotesque things.
Yeah.
You know, most normal people. Like for me, when you were talking about blood magic, I wouldn't want to learn about that. It has like for me, it has no place. It just I can't really describe it other than just icky. I'm just not down with like vile things like that.
I get that.
It's like with you and serial killers and stuff. I just, that does not appeal to me in any way, shape, or
I get
form.
that.
My wife will sit and watch that shit, and I hate it.
Yeah. I fully get that. Just catching up in the chat over here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Lots going on.
Dog man. Damo says, "Hey guys, you got anything in the pipeline? Just something to keep me dropping by. Dogman, it's at the top. Pale crawlers, ghosts, demons, Bigfoot, UFOs."
The pale crawlers is I occasionally try to revisit that, and those are hard to find stories on.
Yeah, you almost have to go to a
'Cause
forum.
the market, the market is being cornered online with a couple of spots with those stories, so you almost need to watch out a little bit. And really, for a lot of these topics, the best bet, if they're not wide topics, the best bet is to get books.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And books obviously take time to sift through and read, so it's not quick articles and stuff like that. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. I tried looking up some Dogman stories the other day, as a matter of fact, but most of them are just rinse and repeat stories that everybody's heard.
I started tuning into a YouTube channel. I'm going to reach out to the guy. He's from the UK, but I would like to get him on and interview him because he does a lot of boots on the ground investigations, but he also does listener experience shows. And he'll do little YouTube snippets of just people calling in and talking about it. And he had one crazy experience from, I think it was West Virginia. And it was a police officer, and he'd gotten a call in that someone was lurking around this people's home. So he goes out to investigate, and he said when he gets there, he said it was way back in the middle of nowhere. He said the next closest house was probably 2 miles, 3 miles down the road. And he said when he got there, he said there was something standing at the edge of the porch. He said, I at first thought it was a bear. He said, but it was standing about 8 feet tall. And he said, I could only really see it from the light that was kind of backdropping it from the moon. And he said, the more I got to looking at it, he said, the less and less like a bear it looked. He said the muzzle wasn't short like a bear's, it was long. And he said, it had pointed ears. He said, it looked like a werewolf. So for lack of a better term, he says, I know like I'm a police officer. My profession is respected. He's like, but it looked like a werewolf. So the only way I could really describe it. So me and my partner got out of the car, and this thing saw us and turned and looked at us. He said when it turned, he said it was the head of a dog. He's like, that's the only way I can explain it, a dog or a wolf. And he said when it saw us, it was not afraid. He said it did not show any sort of fear or anything.
That's terrifying.
And he said we started yelling at it, and it just backed itself off into the woods super slow. He said I was going to take a shot at it, but something just told me not to do it. And he eventually got a hold of the residents who called in once they cleared the scene. And eventually, as it kind of went up the pipeline, they had to write it off as a bear encounter, because he said there was like, they had some piles of garbage on the property or some shit, and they thought it was just maybe a black bear come in. He's like, but I don't know, a black bear that stands 8 feet tall with a wolf head, you know. I'll have to send you the video though. It's cool. I'd like to talk to him. He's got some pretty interesting thought processes on the paranormal, and especially like Bigfoot and Sasquatch and things like that.
I'm down because like stories like that are fascinating.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, like, if I had the opportunity to speak to the police officer, of course, can you describe that feeling of I should not take a shot?
And not the police officer, but the guy who hosts the show, he is, I got to give him props, because he's boots on the ground, right? He got arrested for breaking into the Rendlesham Forest Air Force Base. They confiscated his camera, and he pulled out his cell phone and kept recording, and finally got his camera footage back.
He's just a gangster then. That's awesome.
Okay.
I would be down to have that conversation though.
Yeah.
Said yeah. And there's so many stories out there that are just buried that need to be found and need to be told.
I agree.
And I'm really ready to start hearing them.
Me too. If we could get to Rendlesham Forest without having to cross the ocean, I would go.
I'm down. Yeah.
Because the one video I was watching, he walked the whole shebang afterwards. He's like, he got to the giant military grade chain link barbed wire fence. And he's like, I learned my lesson last time crossing this, so I'm not going to do that this time. But he walked from the gates of the base all the way to where they saw the UFO and all kinds of shit. It was pretty dope.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Pretty dope.
Spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare. You gotta love it. About that time.
It's about that time. Next time, remember, everybody, I'll open the phone lines extra early, and we'll see if we can't get some good
counters,
story time going, get some good conversation going with some of you guys. Because that's also a plausibility as well. Doesn't always have to be stories. We can have short conversations.
Just, I'll scan the chat after we get offline. But again, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. It's cool to be back.
Yes.
Had a lot of people in the chat today.
Timestamps 138.
Yeah, timestamp 9:39. 1:39:03. But hope everybody has a good week. Thanks for kicking it. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay weird, and hit the notification bell so you know when we're here, except that we're shadow banned.
Everyone knows therapy is great for solving problems, but getting therapy has its own problems too, like finding the right therapist, fitting into their schedule, and of course, the cost. Well, BetterHelp can solve those problems. It's totally online and built around your schedule. It's surprisingly affordable too. Connect with a credentialed therapist by phone, video, or online chat, all from the comfort of your home. Visit BetterHelp.com to learn more and save 10% on your first month. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P.